We are live. This is the market update. Do you need price predictions? Do you need to know what to do when the market is down? Don't worry. I'm going to straighten all that out right now. Is Powell quitting? Should he quit? I'm going to help you with that. The administration continues to pump crypto. The more trouble they're in politically, the more they're going to pump your bags. And if they pump your bags, what are the upside price targets? I will help you with that. We'll do some hidden pivot analysis and some PowerPoint later in the show, so stick around. Everybody is also into Ethereum. Everybody is into Bitcoin. Everyone is definitely into Solana. We will talk about Solana and XRP. Now, Magnificent 7 earnings are coming out. What's the Magnificent 7? That is the top stocks in legacy, right? The ones that are worth like anywhere from 2 to 4 trillion. So we'll see if their earnings results justify the prices that people pay. Most of the time, these companies are sophisticated enough to jump over what we call the bar now and release earnings that are greater than what people expect. Now, they will also have a conference call, and this is why I'm telling you this, because when they have a conference call, they may have to mention whether or not they have a Bitcoin or crypto strategy, because crypto has been flying, and they're spending $10 million on people, and in some cases, they're spending more on people than some AI-based crypto projects are worth. They're paying 3x what most small cap crypto projects are worth, which we discussed today in the YouTube member podcast. We put Ace Toby Ward together with the Gann model. We had a little altcoin showdown. We ranked her picks. Definitely worth checking out. We'll go over what that membership page looks like later. Don't miss that going forward, because if you want small cap picks, that is the place to get them. Now, let's go back to Uncle Sugar and then pumping your bags, right? Trump media buying $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, right? White House announcing, oh, well, our crypto policy will be out soon, which I'm hoping is what's called the Sovereign Wealth Fund. What's the Sovereign Wealth Fund? Well, it's like a hedge fund for a country. Like the Norwegians have it with all the money that they make on natural gas, and a couple countries in the Middle East have it. Why shouldn't we have it? If the orange man is making billions on tariffs, hello, that's a great place for the Sovereign Wealth Fund. And if they announce the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, because remember, they sold all their Bitcoin, they don't have what they said they had, then it's gangbusters. In my opinion, the only way to change the subject from this political issue where they're in deep doo-doo on, they got to get something going on Bitcoin, and you know what? They know it. The SEC just approved an ETF that's going to have 10 cryptos in it. So your top 10 cryptos, right? Your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your XRP, your Cardano, right? All that stuff is all going into an ETF, right? And it's very typical, right? ETFs normally don't have one thing in them. Normally an ETF will be like a sector ETF. So it'll have like, in legacy, it's boring. They'll have like the utility stocks or the railroad stocks or the real estate stocks or the semiconductor stocks. Well, guess what? They're going to have the crypto ETF, right? The Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Cardano, Sui, Litecoin, Polkadot, one of Toby's favorites, Chainlink, and Avalanche. Many on the books of World Liberty Financial. Imagine that. Now, that creates ETF buying across the board. So even though it's bitwise, how long do you think it's going to take for price action on the upside to bring in buyers? Because after all, Ethereum at 1,400 was diseased. No one would touch it. Now, of course, at 3,800, it's like, oh, Kathy Wood's piling in, and everyone loves it when it's up. All these cryptos, they start moving up. Guess what? The ETF players will go like, oh, hey, we like this. Don't doubt it. They're on the floor of the Senate talking about, hey, digital assets, the United States needs to be at the forefront. Want to get famous? Want to get on Watcher Guru? If you're a congressman, Heidi ho, start talking about crypto. This political scandal, I continue to believe, is the greatest thing that ever happened to crypto as it relates to sovereigns. They have to, crypto week, I told you, it's going to be crypto months, crypto quarter. It could wind up being crypto year because they're going to need ongoing catalysts, right? In other words, what's the key to driving price? Ongoing catalyst. Now, what does that mean? William Gann, a famous technical analyst, would say, markets need a reason to go up. They never need a reason to go down, but they always need a reason to go up. Well, the administration is only too happy to provide reasons to go up because it's the best distraction of all, because crypto bros, even though it's a very serious situation that they're in trouble on, and I get it, and people have gotten hurt, I understand that, but crypto bros and the media can be distracted very easily with crypto. And remember, the right and the left are on board with this because the left is never going to win another election, right? Unless they have the crypto bros. They need the crypto bros in the center to win an election. So guess what? Everybody's on board. Now get this, Jerome Powell. So if you want to know what's going on with the Fed and you want to know the extra kicker for crypto, please don't go anywhere. So magically, the head of a huge bond fund, let me see the name, El Arion is his last name, just penned something on Axios that said, Powell should quit to save the Fed. In other words, if Powell were a CEO of a company, he would have lost his job a long time ago, right? Clearly, the inflation thing was botched. Housing is not functioning. Car loans are too high, and the labor market is stunted, meaning it's not getting the growth that you would want. So essentially, they've screwed up on the dual mandate. And what El Arion is saying from PIMCO, which again is the biggest bond fund on the planet, when I mean big, right? They're like, if Powell stays in there, once he goes, they're going to tear the Fed apart. Or the cries to get rid of him and then completely reform the Fed are just going to get louder and louder and louder. And naturally, PIMCO and Wall Street want the Fed as is because they want the printer, they want the hidden buying of S&P futures, they want everything their way. Now, as they all debate this, as they get all wound up, to the point where Powell himself has hired a crisis PR firm, right? In other words, some CEO gets in trouble or whatever, you have a crisis PR firm. So can you imagine the pressure on him? It's immense. Now, in order to solve this problem and put pressure on Powell, I think, and I will tell you in 2 minutes what this means for crypto, is that the housing chairman or the housing chief will be on his way to see Powell because the housing market is locked and people cannot afford housing. And the orange man is thinking about eliminating the capital gains tax on houses to encourage people to sell, right? In other words, if people don't sell, if people bought houses a long time ago and they have huge profits and they have a 3% mortgage, what is the incentive to sell? There's none. Fix up the deck and keep it, right? But if you eliminate the capital gains tax, they might roll over into the next house. Pay the extra mortgage. Smart. Now, what does that also do? It puts a huge amount of pressure on Powell. Now, first of all, this is men behaving badly. Let's just say that. It's sovereigns behaving badly. It's Banana Republic. And it's just so darn bullish. It's a double shot, right? It's an absolute double shot. It's sovereigns have to pump it. Sovereigns have political problems And this thing with Powell is frankly a circus. So Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the Bitcoin white paper for the day when fiat money was toilet paper. I don't want it. I don't want it. Silver is rallying. I don't want it. So you get a red day in crypto. Looks like a top. Give me a break. It's not a top. It's a dip buying opportunity. We're still early. You know how you know we're still early? Because you get these nasty down days. You get these down days where stuff's down 4%. Of course, naturally, except in Bitcoin and Solana, Bitcoin just benefits generally from this, kind of rotation trade that they've been doing between alts and Bitcoin. But hey, Solana's doing a SUI, right? And if you think about Solana at 100 billion market cap, somebody please explain to me how you can have, I don't know, NVIDIA at 4 trillion or, social media companies or Microsoft at 3 trillion. You got to be kidding me. Like, you could run a large part of the internet on Solana. And if you couldn't run it on Solana, all you need is a couple Solana layer 2s and boom. This says nothing about Ethereum, right? Ethereum at 450 billion. Are you kidding me? Ethereum could be the internet. So could Solana, right? Solana should be at, we'll go into the price prediction later. These are conservative, realistic price predictions, not the moonshots. And I'm not opposed to the moonshot price predictions. Now, just a word, because we've got this going on over there in Patreon Platinum, crypto stocks. So if the Magnificent Seven doesn't, if there isn't a problem with stocks, I have the Crypto Stock Guide Part 1, and I have Bitcoin Treasury Companies Part 1, or Crypto Stocks Part 2, which ends with a list of stocks that I think they're all short, which would be optimal for a buy. So we have coins we like based on the Gann model. We had a conversation between some market analysts. We have a ranking of crypto stocks in the other report. Everybody is short Bitcoin Treasury stocks and long Bitcoin against it. So how funny would it be if Bitcoin hung out and these crypto stocks ramped because they all got hammered? So, basically what I'm doing is, and Toby's doing the same thing, is what's down? Like, what do they hate, right? What have they given up on? Oh, yeah, let's get some of that, right? 2 reports. Like, if you bought YouTube and you bought Patreon, that's still 25% less than what most guys are charging for what I think is, half-act research. Let's put it that way, right? We're kicking ass and we're taking names. Excuse me, the language. Okay, Ethereum has an upgrade coming up. Bullish. Kathy Wood, who never met a momentum play that she didn't like, has bought 4 million shares of Tom Lee's ETH Treasury Company. So it's funny. Ethereum has now got a Michael Saylor in Tom Lee, who thinks ETH is going to 15,000, right? And actually, he got on board with ETH, relatively early, right? He was like, hey, I'm going to stop doing research. I'm going to be Michael Saylor for Ethereum. Right now, he thinks it's going to 15,000. So they have marketing now, because that's what Saylor is. He is like the one-man marketing machine. He needs help. Cynthia Loomis is helping. That's good. But Ethereum now has somebody who can talk the tape, get on CNBC. Unfortunately, it's not Vitalik. Those guys never did their public speaking course. They never got on television. I don't think Vitalik could ever do that, but they need somebody. And guess what? They have it. Now they have a story. And in equities, it's about the story, right? It'll fluctuate on earnings, but that's once a quarter. Equities and ETFs, which you need to pay attention to, right? ETFs are important now. So if you have a story, you have stock investors. And oh, by the way, you can pay 4 trillion for NVIDIA, or you can pay 450 billion for ETH. Duh. Do you need an MBA to do that trade? I don't think so. ETH is also disappearing off exchanges, right? Companies are now adding Ethereum to their balance sheet. So all the characters that miss Bitcoin, right? Because, if you're running a treasury, you can go in and talk to the CEO and go, I think we should put Bitcoin on our books. Where were you at 77? Where were you a year ago? Now they can be like, well, Ethereum's not below its all-time high, and BlackRock and Cathie Wood are buying it. So the CEO goes, okay, now there's an idea. Right? Again, legacy is driving this market. Good thing you have your friendly neighborhood legacy guy, and you have your friendly neighborhood, outside the box analyst in the YouTube member area doing podcasts, organizing her picks with the GAN model. Okay. And then we can sit down and we can rank them. We can say, here's what the GAN model likes. Here's what Toby likes. Here's why. Going to another level, people. You know what they're charging for small cap research? Other places I used to work at? Holy cow. Holy cow. We are selling that at bargain basement prices. Get it while it's hot. Get it while it's hot. We'll show what the page looks like in a minute. Meanwhile, back at the Bitcoin ranch, Michael Saylor just indiscriminately is buying. He's got Wall Street investment banks coming up with all kinds of products. Now they have some kind of stablecoin style product that always stays at 100. I'm not sure how that works. Matter of fact, you kind of have to be a finance whiz to figure out how it all works. And I think he's right. If you studied all the different ways that all these different instruments that he issues worked, you would effectively have at least 6 credit course in finance from a business school, if you knew really how they all worked. Now, in case you don't want to do that, he's just going to issue all the paper that pension funds and all these big players can eat before they eventually figure out how to buy crypto themselves. But in the meantime, right? Like, for example, the U.S. Sovereign Wealth Fund, remember that in the beginning? Yeah, it's completely logical that the way they could drive up the price of Bitcoin is to take every piece of paper that Michael Saylor issues, right? Like, they may not have to buy Bitcoin. They might want to. They should. But they can take Michael Saylor's paper and he can do it. I mean, that is easy. They just call up these guys and say, hey, you guys want to issue paper to buy crypto? We'll take it all. We'll take it all. And if the government's wrong, they'll lose money. When has the government ever been worried about losing money? These guys paying, $250 for a toilet seat or having a sushi slush fund at all these government agencies. It's easy. It's so easy. Right? Guys talking about Bitcoin being in the most explosive phase. Okay, believe it or not, I disagree. I think Bitcoin is in a stair-step phase, unless something wacko happens, right? In a stair-step phase that is going to allow altcoins to rally ready for months, which is why the price prediction research that I'm coming up with, which is slightly conservative, which is a little bit grounded in what they do in equities, is worth sticking around for. Because if you consider and ask yourself, if these cryptos went to these price targets, what would be happening in the market? Did you know NFTs are back? Right? You get the speculative juices going in these markets. And if NFTs are back, then all of these AI agent coins and all this stuff that's lurking underneath this market at 30 million market cap. I mean, you have 50 and 100x potential, because make no mistake about it, in the YouTube member area, we are looking and talking about every single week. Where is the 50 and 100x potential? We're even narrowing it down and doing some quick videos, right? Versus the 54, we did it in 40 and then we're doing it at 54. Okay. The podcast is worth listening to because it's not just about the small caps, right? And I know that there are members out there who were, they were members at the top. Come back in at the bottom. Please, please, please do it. Now, let's talk about the XRP Army and Solana. I saw an article today that said the XRP Army is mad because it took so long to get to $3 or $3.50. And they're even mad that it had to sit in a range for 6 months while Bitcoin went up. The XRP Army is mad. Well, guess what? When people get mad or bearish their own coin, guess what happens? 2 words, up only. Up only, right? Because, and I've seen all this too. Like, oh, XRP is making a double top. Oh, you got to get out. Oh, it's, shut up. No one's doing that. No one's doing that because this whole stablecoin thing is nothing more than Legacy's attempt to get involved in crypto. Meanwhile, all of the things that XRP stands for, right, can be achieved through Ripple, its program, its layer 1, XRP. You can do more with that than you can do with a plain Jane stablecoin. And then, of course, the thing I talk about every day, which is either the Ripple IPO or the Ripple takeover. Somebody comes in and goes, you know what? If this goes IPO, it's going to be crazy banana pants. We're just going to buy this thing. They are paying indiscriminate prices in Web 2. They are buying whatever they can because they know it's winner take all. There's only one search engine, Google, prior to Perplexity, in my opinion, right? But before that, it was Google. How many operating systems you got? You got Mac OS and Windows. That's it, right? You only got 2, right? Does anybody remember like Nokia and BlackBerry and iPods? Gone. iPhone only with some Android competition from Samsung. What do you think is going to happen in AI? What do you think is going to happen in Web 2? They're going to come out and announce we're building data centers. We're hiring everybody. No price is too high. We're going to get after everything. How long do you think it's going to take before that FOMO comes into crypto? And XRP is at the center point of that. So, XRP is all mad. The guys are frustrated. And then everybody's like, well, I should take profits at 350. No, absolutely. Excuse me. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? There is more upside there than I think there is in Bitcoin on a percentage basis. Meanwhile, back at the Solana ranch, Pengu just flipped Arbitrum in market cap. Now, what's Pengu? What is Pengu and Bonk? Levered Solana. The levered Solana, the lower cap, I don't want to say lower quality, but the more speculative elements of Solana are absolutely smoking. And the fact that Pengu took out Arbitrum, who Arbitrum's got 2 big partnerships as a layer 2. I know a guy who works in Arbitrum business development. If Pengu took out Arbitrum, Arbitrum's going to the moon. Not because there's anything wrong with Pengu, right? But we're playing this flip the market cap game. Whatever gets flipped goes, right? Big super chat for Floki. Can check that out. Stop the monologue to help our friend with Floki. And, again, it's funny. It looks like NFTs are coming back before the big meme coins. So I've started looking at some of this stuff on a weekly basis. And the thing that's funny about Floki is that it hasn't broken out yet. Everyone's trying to tell me it's overbought. Everyone's trying to tell me to take profits. Shut up. I'm not hearing it, right? I'm just not hearing it, right? They can just all come get me. They can just all come get me. So Floki is on the verge of breaking out. And if you look at the daily chart, there is support underneath the market. And the start of the give up trade is approximately 28% away. And this is clearly the bigger the base, the higher in the space. It just hasn't gone the higher in the space yet. So for our friend with the super chat, again, you know, the cheaper stuff, it is the cheaper, more speculative stuff hasn't even happened yet. It hasn't happened yet, and it's going to. And when it happens, it's going to be robust. Okay, so you've gotten a preview of the XRP price prediction. So I have it up here on the screen. So let's do some hidden pivot analysis. What's hidden pivot? It's a way to find resistance points and support points that you might not normally see. So XRP actually bottomed in July of 2024. You connect the top and you connect the bottom, like the recent correction bottom. Now, what you get here is you have strong support from this hidden pivot method at around 315. Conveniently, that is where LuxAlgo inserted support, which I find very interesting. I love Confluence. Love it. Now, if using hidden pivot analysis, this is XRP on the daily chart. If XRP moved to its hidden pivot target, it would be at 466. Now, this I would claim is your realistic XRP price prediction. And I ask a very simple question. What does this market look like with XRP at 450, with, of course, everyone talking $5, because right now the XRP army is angry, and they're about to not be angry, in my opinion, if 315 acts as support. As a matter of fact, you'd be lucky to get it down there. What is the market going to look like? What's it going to look like if XRP is at 466? I don't think this is the question that's not being asked. Everyone's like, oh my God, the FOMO is unbelievable. You know, wait a minute. In research, you get paid for imagination. Use your imagination. You know, what did the market look like when Bitcoin was at 120? Right? Well, ETH went up $1,000. Boom. XRP made a new high. Boom. Right? Solana took off, boom, and it's got much higher prices to go. It's crazy. Okay, Bitcoin on a weekly chart, hidden pivot analysis, live TA. Make sure you hit the like button. We are trying to get to 200 likes. We can't get there without you, so hit that button. Okay, Bitcoin starting in 2022. All the way up. Little correction here on the tariff tantrum. And look at what we have here. We have Bitcoin stopping, lo and behold, right at the hidden pivot point, which is how you know you're on the right track, right? 120.29. Now, if Bitcoin breaks out, if Bitcoin goes to its top hidden pivot target, that would be 168. Is that realistic in the fourth quarter? Is it realistic in September? Could this go mini banana? We'll go onto the PowerPoint soon. I would prefer a orderly move in Bitcoin. I know everyone wants the banana, but the banana eventually gets unwound with a deeper correction. Now, where the banana is going to occur is in the small caps, which we're talking about in the YouTube member area. That's the banana. And that is going to happen just as sure as God made little apples. Okay, Ethereum, hidden pivot analysis, way outside the box. So I am going to go from the bottom because that's the game here. You got to figure out what to connect where. So I'm going to go from the cough, cold, and flu bottom to the FOMO top, the Bored Ape top is what I call it in 2021. And then I'm going to take it down to the FTX bottom, and I'm going to say, all right, where can ETH get to? Well, ETH obviously blew through 3,300, and you got 5,600 as an upside target. And you know what? That's almost boring. It's almost kind of boring. I mean, it's not boring, but you have to ask yourself, like, for example, where's Solana at 5,600? Where's ETH DeFi at 5,600? Right? Where is this altcoin space that has frankly Done nothing. We just showed Floki on a weekly basis hasn't broken out yet. Weekly charts are still suppressed, to use the word of my colleague, which frankly, is the thing that got me on this show, Bullish Crazy Man, because I'm like, I know what happens from a TA point of view. If something is suppressed, once it gets loose, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. And this could go on for a long time, right? I mean, go back to the Bitcoin chart. I mean, Bitcoin's like up, consolidation, BlackRock's consolidation, BlackRock, big dip, last dip, BlackRock. You know what I'm saying? This went on and on and on and on. And everybody wants to get off the boat in altcoins 6 days. Get out of here. No way. No way. Okay, Solana, hidden pivot analysis. Let's do it. Let's do it. Solana price prediction as promised. So if you go to the 2023 bottom, just to be outside the box, that was when Solana was at 12 and no one wanted it except Toby and Wendy O. Toby was like, you know what? I showed her Solana, different set, first started, didn't know anything about crypto. I said, you know, what do you think about Solana? She's like, oh, I love Solana at 12. And then I immediately went over to the microphone and was like, Solana, let's go. That was 2023. Okay, 2023, FOMO top, back down. Okay, so Solana did this lovely little dance here. Solana does that. Okay, Solana breaks 157. The next level is 219. And what's the ultimate upside target here? 376. And frankly, it could go higher. Want to get crazy? Want to get wild? Let's do it. You have an expanding triangle in Solana. This can be very bullish, right? You travel the distance of the formation from the point of the breakout that hasn't happened yet. That's 520. That's, oh, sorry, not the right line. That's, boom. Don't 100 billion for Solana. Are you kidding me? Solana is, remember all this stuff like, oh my God, Solana's going to flip ETH. And then 3 years ago, it was ETH's going to flip Bitcoin. It's the flippening. It isn't the flippening. It's the catch-up trade. If XRP was a leadership coin and Solana was suppressed, I don't know, because validators have so much Solana to sell. It's going to get soaked up by an ETF. It's going to get soaked up by multiple ETFs. Don't tell me this can't happen, because it can. And if it does, again, like, oh my God, what does Solana NFTs look like? Where are the meme coins going? I mean, let's have a laugh and look at some Solana meme coins, right? Like, I don't know, like, you know, WIF on a weekly basis. Like, what has happened here? Nothing. Nothing. And I still think these ETH-based meme coins like Pepe, daily chart, done nothing. LuxAlgo just put support underneath this. What's going to happen if Pepe breaks this resistance with this bigger the base, the higher in the space, cup and handle thing? Normies are after Litecoin. Coinbase, the green button. Oh, look what I found. Dude, you do not have to be a rocket scientist to know that normies are going to get after this thing. They are going to get after it, especially Gen Z, which is probably why NFTs are back. NFTs are back. Holy cow. What else do we got here? Oh, look at this. We have TAO. Ooh, Big Rich. Ready? Here we go. Hidden pivot analysis on TAO. All the way up. Oh, there we go. Let's get that. Oh, no, over here. Okay, all the way up. Why am I not getting cooperation here? Okay, all the way up, all the way down, all the way back up again. I am not getting cooperation from this computer. There we go. Okay. Wow, look at that. Tau stops right at the 50% point at 461. LuxAlgo has got support underneath it. So where the heck is it going? It's pinned between resistance and support. And, whoops. Okay. And as you would note, this thing goes to its upside target. You're looking at 633. 633. That's in an AI coin. And there are more AI coins out there. We covered 2 or 3 of them. You know, Elon is moving Bitcoin around. Why is Elon moving Bitcoin around? Maybe because he's going to get more involved. Antivirus. The fight for digital freedom. 4 million market cap. 4 million market cap. The AI agent economy for every workflow. Do you know these AI agent projects are everywhere? Now, not every AI agent project is good, probably. But the market's acting like none of them are good. None of them. And whether you want to admit it or not, antivirus is an AI agent product, right? I mean, you know, these are the milestones that they've got. They've got it on exchanges. This is since January, okay? Janice McAfee locks her tokens. First podcast released. First podcast released. A talking AI agent. June 26th, cross-chain mixer. So if you don't want the whole world to know what your position is, you can run it through a mixer. Because one day, people will be looking for your positions. Privacy is a right. And this Tornado Cash trial is a catalyst. It's not just like, oh, okay, well, here's Bill's privacy lecture for the day. Dude, there's a catalyst, a story. Remember Kathy Wood? There's an antivirus story. Okay, they upgraded the website. These guys mean business. And again, this not only is it a mixer, but it's cross-chain. And one of the things I talked about with Toby today was she keeps saying, bro, you got to get out there and you got to find cross-chain tokens. We found 1 or 2. That's going to be a search because, you know, everyone's like, oh, in January, it's like, oh, cross-chain. So antivirus has cross-chain. It has an AI agent, which one day is going to go with an LLM inside a robot operating system, and it's going to walk around. Elon's got robots serving popcorn at fairs going 2 years. This will be completely normal. What's going to happen when a walking, talking agent has its own meme coin that has a ton of utility behind it? Again, people in crypto are acting like this can't happen. Again, ETH was dead. XRP was dead. This is a month ago. This is not like, oh yeah, you know, 2 years ago, everyone said ETH was dead. No, this was a month or 2 ago. I mean, Bitcoin went up 11% in 20 days. So that means 30 days ago, we were in winter and it was the end of the world. And you have projects like this trading at a 4 million market cap. You have all the projects that we looked at today on the YouTube member area. We had all of these projects trading at market caps that are ridiculous. They're ridiculous. And she goes through them every day. I'm like, okay, so she uses banter bubbles and we pick them live. We just pick them live. We go shopping on down days. Like right there on the screen, right there on the stream. Like you don't have to wait for some like, you know, weekly webinar. We're doing this twice a week. Twice a week, bro. Right? If you collected small coins as the best of your ability twice a week, dude, you're going to find 100. We are going to find the 100X. We are. Like I said, you know, we mean business. Okay. Again, this is a new style where we do monologue followed by TA. If you like the new style, feel free to comment down below. Willimeter, we appreciate the super chat. Bull Runner, Hal Lopez. You want to talk about conviction. That dude is up in the middle of the night in Portugal. Strong. Okay. Rave Song Records likes the new time. Felix, T-Bone, a member for 6 months. T-Bone, where do you see those new stock reports, bro? You're going to have a tough time going to work. Holy schmoly, Ricky Ricardo, XRP to the moon. Caroline Storyteller, a longtime member. Bass Hertz, a Spartan from Patreon. Don't forget, Patreon has a middle tier where they get the 6th Street Crypto podcast, where you get to hear all the things I can't say on the air. Plus, I gave you 5 coins, 5 big caps in case you need to FOMO in. Don't forget those guys, because I didn't, because those guys got the channel off the ground, right? Suncatcher Hawaii, an antivirus guy. JB, Joe Robbins, Felix, Hot Mess Express, David, Charlie the Positive Cat, another antivirus guy out there tweeting. Those guys are motivated. Janice McAfee just got done doing a major podcast. That story is never going to go away. And the longer you stick around and the longer you realize what that actually means, it's a crypto with meaning, just like Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin has a narrative. ETH has a narrative. So do they. Easy Eats, altcoin summer. Willimeter, Michelle, welcome. Diva, what's going on? What's going on? Did you hear about the banks that don't want Ripple and Circle becoming a bank? Yeah, no duh, dude. Right? The banks don't want anybody looking at their gold and silver holdings. Silver's taken off undoubtedly because the banks are shorted. They don't have what they say they have. And of course, nobody can or nobody wants to or can compete with XRP and Ripple. And good luck fighting that through Congress, because again, the crypto bro vote is more important than the banking lobby. And that is saying something. Haven Peck, what's going on? CLOS, T-Bone. I own 55,000 NFTs on Sol. Dude, I'm sure there was a service at the end of the last cycle that would just take your JPEGs out of your wallet. They would just take them. Just like, like the guys that come and clean out your garage, like, 1-800-JUNK or whatever. Yeah. They would come take it out of your garage. So good for you for keeping it, dude. Because if that stuff ever comes back, if there's a Bored Ape, because remember, CryptoPunks, Chainlink, a lot of that stuff, that's from the last cycle. 2 cycles ago, right? Pag Voop is here, right? Welcome. We had the big super chat from Alpha Cry. Okay, what do you think ETH will top at this year? Dude, ETH's not topping this year. It's not. Right? ETH will top. I changed my mind. So ETH will top after the eclipse. Dude, it's got to be well over 5,000. It's not 15,000, but it's well over 5,000. The reason it's not way over 5,000 or 6,000 is because the bid has to switch into Solana. Right? That's where the crazy moonshot could be. Brandon Pauling, what's up? Daniel J from the shore. What's going on? Bezak, Alpha Cry, right? Pag Voop, Ricky Ricardo, Hot Mess Express, Near Render Objective, still down. Goodbyes are dead. Listen, I hate to say it this way because I love Hot Mess Express. So let's be polite. If anyone thinks their coins are dead, they're not. They're not. All that's happened is that you've reached the frustration point. You've reached the XRP army rage point. Right? Now, if you bought the kangaroo coin, okay, maybe that's dead. Okay. But Near is in a grayscale ETF. I have to get off my duff and get the grayscale ETFs or ETNs up. Share screen. Okay. Notice how Near acted when it got out of the diamond bottom. And you know what? Diamond bottoms are long-term bottoms. Machines are not going to use slow layer ones. They're going to want the fastest stuff that doesn't have transaction front running. And guess what? This was early GAN model stuff. Injective and Near showed up in that filter, I think, particularly Injective. Right? This whole thing where people want to give up. I mean, I get it. It's not that I don't get that you're frustrated. I mean, I get that. But, you know, you also can see that Injective is got support underneath it. It's got support underneath it. And again, you can draw almost the same formations, right? I mean, maybe it's not perfect here. Maybe I'm going too far outside the box. I don't think so. Most technical analysis formations are the ones that they can't see, or they're just ugly. And again, you know, a lot of times with TA, you draw something and you don't know if it's any good until it's somewhat after the fact, like the hidden pivot analysis in Bitcoin, right? It's like, oh, look, it stopped at 120. Oh, how about that, right? This just looks like a crazy banana pants breakout. And the thing that's amazing is that you have not taken out the top of the give up trade yet. There's still resistance in this market. Where's the resistance up here? I don't know. It almost feels like there isn't any. Right? I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, it went straight down. It went straight down. I'm sure there was a great reason for this. Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember what it was. Like World War Z, the yen carry trade. You know, there's all these reasons. All bunk. Toby Ward tells you that. I'm like, hey, Toby, you want to talk about the apocalypse of the week? She's like, not really. No. Matter of fact, just shut up. I mean, we do it at the start of the podcast for tongue in cheek. And again, with Injective, like most of this market, the money flow indicator on LuxAlgo, well, hasn't turned yet. It's going to. You know, I mean, when this stuff all goes green and the hedge funds start pouring in, this stuff's going to go crazy. Because again, look at the down angle. I mean, let me see if I can get this up. I mean, we're doing a lot of crazy live TA today. And of course, if you like live TA, what should you do? You know what I'm saying? I mean, Injective, that's a 57% down angle. And at one point, it was a 67% down angle. It was straight down. This was an 82% straight down angle back in February. You know, I don't know. The orange man sold the meme coin to everybody over the top, caught everybody super bullish. Then the market crashed. Why? Does anybody remember? I mean, I understand. Okay, the market corrected. The market went down. All right, fine. The market went down. And again, not to pile on, you know, and it's not investment advice. I'm not talking about necessarily being completely in love with any one coin, but this is an AI layer one, and the target is back at 46, and currently it's at 15, and no one wants it. No one wants it. No one wants Polkadot either. I can't get the GAN model or Toby off Polkadot. You know, and Render, dude, this is a multi-coin capital play. Do you think multi-coin capital gets into plays that aren't going to go up long term? I mean, multi-coin capital gets involved in something and then they go out and they shill it to sovereign wealth funds. I mean, again, LuxAlgo inserting support underneath all of these rallies. So everyone's like, oh my God, the rally is huge. Not really, dude. You know, not really. I mean, your next stop potentially in Render is up here. And again, I get the frustration, right? Oh, okay. Well, my bag didn't rally. Yeah, dude, that's because it's not alt season. I can't say alt season to Toby, or she takes off her new age goddess sandal and slaps me. I have to take my glasses off and take my shot and put my glasses back on. It's rotation. It's like stocks, right? It's like one sector goes and then another sector goes. When the AI sector goes in crypto, everybody will look around and go, oh my God, how did we miss this? Why weren't we trading this again? And I could just go on and on and on and on, right? Like Ondo up today when everything's down. Again, LuxAlgo supporting underneath, right? Money flow going green. Where is this going? I mean, BlackRock told you that they did not want to make partnerships. I'm sorry. BlackRock told you that they did not want to do homegrown crypto projects. They did not want to make their own blockchain. They do not want to get in that game. They want to go partner with somebody. Okay. So who are they going to partner with? Well, I think they partnered with Ondo. Ohm went to zero and got all the bad actors out. Yeah, real world assets has not been traded. Checks, Clearpool. I mean, do I really need to go through every single chart to show you that everything is the bigger the base, the higher in the space, and everything has been like pushed off a ledge and not traded? Okay, we have a request coming in for Aero. So ETH DeFi on the Base app. Coinbase is getting their act together with the Base app. It's about time. It's about time. It really is. It's about time. And you know what? It's actually just in time, because I think if they sat around on their duff, Solana would eat their lunch permanently. It's a lovely accumulation cone. Boom. Now, how high can this go? I don't know. You know, I think it could go back to its high, but, you know, ETH DeFi, fade ETH DeFi at your own risk. Because again, with ETH at 5,600, you're going to have a lot of people with a lot of money to spend. Okay, Render or AKT, a super chat for, oh, I forgot to share a screen. Okay, so Arrow, quick, fast, in a hurry. This is an accumulation cone. And what you have to ask yourself is, if ETH goes to 5,600, it doesn't go to 5,600 in a vacuum, right? ETH DeFi, Base app. What happens if there's a flurry of trading? There has to be. Otherwise, Solana will eat their lunch. And they better take, and they're doing the right thing. They're like, oh God, we better get involved in this right now. Right now. Okay, AKT. Here's a hint. Cannot get the GAN model off AKT in some of the reports that we have. Can't give you all the coins. I don't know, man. I mean, money flow just went positive. You know, I think picking between AKT and Render is a function of what you think the fundamentals are. I know the GAN model takes fundamentals into account. You know, I think all of these coins are going to challenge resistance. They're going to challenge resistance and bust it. So perhaps the tactical upside is in AKT, because if they busted this resistance, it would go up 72%. And somebody's going to keep telling me that they're not going to trade this part in crypto. They're going to trade this part in crypto. I mean, Render is also loose and has nothing but blue sky because of this suppression wedge. I'll go out on a limb and pick AKT. That's what I'll do, right? T-Bone said, I'm in so many memberships, it's hard to keep track. Well, here's the good news. Patreon Platinum is $88. That gets you everything in Patreon. $49 gets you everything in YouTube. We have to be on 2 separate places in case one shuts us off. So $49 on YouTube, $88 in Patreon. That gets you everything. Right? And that's still cheaper than what certain dimwit places are charging. They're charging $200 and giving you nothing. And we get you through bear markets too. We don't stop during bear markets. We keep going. Okay. Can't trade base, so Aero good. All right. Looking forward to see T-Bone joining me as a full-time investor. Let me make sure I shared the render screen. I mean, dude, this downward sloping wedge and the fact that they just popped out of it. All I know is when they go to these sectors, right? Because right now it's what? It's Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana's next. And when they get done with that, these altcoins, they're going to absolutely smoke. And on these down days where it's down 5%, it's down 3%, who cares? Who cares? I mean, the fact that they give you these dips and they give you these pauses is great, right? Fetch and Sonic. Okay, I can appreciate being frustrated in Fetch. It's the artificial super intelligence token. This is the weekly chart. I continue to believe this is going to challenge resistance. Having a sharing screen problem today. I think it's going to challenge $1.45. It's currently at 81 cents. If you go to the one-day chart, it looks like it's dead, but it's not. It's not. Okay? Because LuxAlgo is putting support underneath it, and money flow is going to go green any minute. You know, you got to start asking yourselves, these bigger coins, TAO, Fetch, Sonic. Sonic's a layer 1 with fast DeFi, right? It's formerly Phantom. Okay. In other words, God, look at this. Look at this downward sloping wedge in Sonic. I mean, this is like, I would describe that formation as, I hate it so much that I'm going to dig a giant hole and bury it and then put a boulder on top of it. Well, like most monster movies, what happens if it gets out? It's going to go crazy. Again, fast layer 1, speed, avalanche, SUI, SEI. I mean, is this complicated? Is it complicated? It doesn't feel complicated to me. I mean, the money is made. The money is not made in the buying and the selling. The money is made in the waiting. And you know what? Waiting stinks. Nobody wants to wait. I want to press the green button, take a shower, brush my teeth, go downstairs to the apartment complex, and my Lambo is waiting for me parked outside. I get it. That's what we want. That's what we need. I understand. However, this is more like a stock game. It's driven by stories. It's driven by big money inflows. Okay? It's driven by asset allocation. You want to watch these AI coins, any of these coins, the DeFi coins, the RWA coins, you watch. When they start going up, the equities players will start loving them. Nobody wants them when they're down here. Nobody wanted ETH at 1,400. It was going to zero. Everything was just, it was over. It was over. Right? But when they start going up, Legacy goes, oh, you know what? We should put that in ETF. Hey, you know, we got a story behind that. Hey, the Web2 guy got involved with this project. This is not going to happen. Oh yeah, people, this is going to happen. Because how do you think you have a 9-month alt season rally? Like, how did you have a multi-month, multi-year Bitcoin rally? Like, how did it happen? Well, you had BlackRock, you had Michael Saylor, You had this being the only way to lower the value of the dollar. You had gold rallying. There was a narrative behind Bitcoin. There's going to be a narrative behind multiple sectors in altcoins. And I don't think anybody understands this. Everyone's, I mean, I understand. For a YouTube headline, you put alt season, here we go. But the reality is it's rotation season, which is what Toby will tell you in the YouTube member area. And of course, no one listens because everyone wants alt season. And I understand that. But this is not difficult, right? This is not hard, right? And she'll walk you through it. She'll be like, okay, this one, this one, this one, and this one. I mean, as a consumer of research, it doesn't get any easier than that. You watch the video, you have a pen and some paper, and boom, you're off to the races. And in the GAN work, that doesn't include Toby, but over in Patreon, we give you the paper, we give you the PDF, and we write it all down for you. That's not microcaps. How much easier can we make it? We make it super easy. You know why? Because we care about you making money. Toby sent me this like YouTube influencer that gets on, talks about alt season, tells you, of course, you should buy stupid, belittles his audience, and has 1 million followers. Okay, we're going to have 1 million followers one day. We're just going to do it differently. We're just going to do it differently. Okay. That is the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.